Hey, look at there. Look at there, look at there. Here we are. Live with you on a Reaction Monday. Did anything happen over the weekend? Y'all good? Everybody good? How is everyone? State fans, y'all feeling good today on this Monday? Welcome in on this Reaction Monday. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. That's really important that Beaver is here and you're here. That's probably what's most important, is the fact that you are here. And here, okay, is a message that you didn't think you were going to get first. Like the first comment today on this Reaction Monday on the live stream out there in YouTube land. So if you're in YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, you can comment on the show. Type it in right there. Give me some coffee and clear my throat in a minute. Today, it's not Sven. It's not Hunter. Today, the first comment on the YouTube live stream is from Octavian that says, "Go Gators." Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a glass half full fan right there. He knows it's one game. That's all it is. All it is one game. South Florida might be really, really, really good. In fact, they look pretty good. Octavian knows it's just one game. Sven commented and said, "Matt, Octavian is good people. I've known him for years." And told him Hail State. Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's a great way to start the show off today with a little positivity here on this Monday. So get on in here. You can do that. You can comment if you're on Facebook or YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Drop the comment right there. You can also text the show on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. That's a 601 number. 885-3776. Country Pleasing sausage. I finished all the jalapeno and cheddar I had last night actually for supper. I was watching NFL football, eating sausage, and made some grits. I'm not embarrassed at all to admit that, eating breakfast for dinner on a Sunday night. And so this morning I had a little bit of what's left of that pineapple and pork that I have been working on. I tell you, though, Reaction Monday, we got so much to talk about, so there was just a little bit of less time of preparing for the show, but then I kind of got backed up. I stayed outside a little too long today, running around doing some other stuff, got in here late, and I'm just now pouring my hot coffee. Y'all excuse me for a minute, okay? I got to clear out the cobwebs with this hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Hang on. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. All is well. All is well. A little hot coffee from High Point Roasters. Hey, and listen, give me a call on the Junction phone line. That's right. The all-new Junction phone line fueled by Prince Oil Company. Come on. Number to call is 897-1059. That's a 601 number. 897-1059. We've got final scores to go over and results. Now, and obviously, I have a whole lot to talk about with y'all. And the biggest thing is I kind of want to hear from you. I mean, I know what I think, and I've already talked about that a bunch this weekend, even back on Saturday night during the game. I'm really interested in what you think. We're going to talk state. We obviously are going to talk state. Huge win for state. I mean, huge win. Aside from all the, the perceptive things that you can use to build momentum, paying a fine for storming the field and, people giving you props for the atmosphere, which was really good at the game. I mean, the fact that you're 2-0 and you got some winnable games coming up, it's an upset, a game you weren't supposed to win and all that. It's a huge win for state. So, I mean, tip of the cap, props to everybody involved with it. Team, coaches, fans, student section, everybody. Okay, but there are others. There are others out there who are, feeling good about things. In fact, I got a text just a minute ago from Bama fan that said, Matt, Bama is back. What do you think? There you go, Bama fan, just for you. He said Bama's back. They scored 70 points. When's the last time Alabama scored 70 points in a ball game? You talk about a tough situation for Louisiana Monroe. Alabama, gets embarrassed by Florida State in the opening weekend. Everybody trashing them in Bama land for a whole week. And Louisiana Monroe, you get to go in there. Week 2, Tuscaloosa. Step up to the plate. 73-0. I got to be honest with you. I'm not impressed by all these 70-somethings. Florida State and these other teams scoring 70 points. I'm not impressed by it. It's a good old Saban team could have beaten a lot of those teams 70-0 if he wanted to. They never did. They'd get it to about 31-0 and just cruise right on into the locker room. Okay? All right. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Tons of text to get to. As you know, they're probably coming in already. Grumpy State grad, Jason, Real C, J-Rock, Kenny, Bama fan, all of y'all coming to the text line. Your comments, Mr. Harmon and Sven and Will and everybody out there in YouTube land, coming to your comments on the live stream as well. Facebook, Jonathan and everybody coming to you. Right now, though, flipping it over to the aforementioned Junction phone line. The number to call, 897-1059. On this Reaction Monday, we go to line 1 where Brando is hanging on. What's up, Brando?
Hey, Matthew. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Good to hear your voice.
Good to hear your voice, man. Hey, I wanted to mention something real quick that I noticed. I'm an Ole Miss fan, and you know that. But I watched the game, the state game, and there's been a lot of hate about them from Arizona State fans about them rushing the field. It wasn't the number one team that they beat or whatever. But I think it wasn't even about the win. I was thinking about it when I was watching them rush the field. It was about the losses.
Yeah.
And not just on the field, but off the field with Mike Leach and just what y'all been through over the last 4 to 5 years. I don't even know if it was so much about the win. I think it was just about proving to yourself that you can win, but it was overcoming the losses outside and inside the stadium. So
I think it's a really good take, Brando. What's the term? Pent up. There was a lot pent up with State fans, the way things, had gone the last couple of years. And, there's so much that I could sit here and just ramble on for an hour of things that I saw or heard or things that caught my attention before the game, during the game, just after the game that, were interesting, that kind of stand out. You win a game like that, there's all kinds of things that you're more apt to pay attention to. But even before the game started, there's just so many things. I think it goes back to you've got a staff of people in the department that knew, I think based on feedback from the coaches and staff and all that they had put together a better team. Are they going to go out here and win the national championship this year? No, and nobody expects that. But you finally have, you've put together a better team. NIL and paying these guys allows you to do that, kind of change it overnight. So they felt good about that. Well, then, other resources kind of going into improving what the experience is going to be like in the stadium. There were some people complaining about it, but I thought they really did improve everything about the tailgate area, the junction, and how sort of now uniform it is and how clean it is and all that kind of stuff. And so there was all that, those kinds of things, those intangibles. But, man, I'm telling you, I think the weather had something to do with it. The fact it's the first home game of the year, the fact that it was a ranked opponent in the first home game of the year, the fact that it was a night game with a ranked opponent for the first home game of the year. You see what I mean? So everybody came out. It wasn't full, but because it's not like you're hosting Tennessee or something like that. I mean, it's Arizona State, but still, it was a really good crowd, and people, because of weather and other stuff, were able to go spend the day tailgating. It was a packed tailgating area around the stadium, and so therefore your dog walk scene was really fantastic. It's the best I've seen in years in terms of the numbers of people there and all that. So there was this heightened feel even before the game started, right? Well, then, you know, the student section, I was bragging on them last year at times when you had this horrible football team. You got a product on the field that's hard to even watch, yet they were still going and doing their part. Man, let me tell you, that you couldn't move around. There were no extra seats. There's nowhere to move around in that student section well before kickoff. And so the fan base, it really did their part to create an atmosphere that, you know, might help at home. And then team gets off to a fast start, all that kind of stuff. And then to go to your point, after the game, I'll be honest with you, Brando, I'm sitting in the broadcast booth, we're calling the game, it never crossed my mind. The entire time, even right up to the end of the game, it never even crossed my mind that people were going to run onto the field. The first time I thought of it was that they're out there taking a knee on the last play. And just sort of natural reaction for me is I glance up then at the video board to look at the clock and just see how many seconds are going to run off. And when I did, I saw on the video board the message that said, access to the field will begin for you in, it said like 2 minutes and 59 seconds. It was counting it down, 58, 57, 56. I'm going, wait a minute. Okay, then it dawns on me, wait a minute. They're telling fans don't rush on the field until this countdown clock runs out at 3 minutes. As soon as I see that, it's the first time I thought, they might rush the field. I then take my eyes back to the field, and there were people not in the end zone, not the students in the end zone. It was the first people to go out were people on the home side, running out through the home sideline onto the field, and then here we go. All right, over to the phone line, line 2. Octavius from the aforementioned live stream on YouTube on the Junction phone line. What's up, Octavius? Thanks for calling.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
A long time. This is the first time calling, man. Hey, I want to say that you was one of the greatest SEC quarterbacks I have ever seen in my life.
I appreciate the compliment.
I have to say that you was one of the best, man. I have a secret love for Mississippi State, but it's time for Billy to go, buddy.
Okay. So you, as a Florida fan, have had enough of Billy Napier.
Yeah, I had enough. I think Mississippi State going upwards and we're going back down.
Mm. So who's next?
We have LSU next in Death Valley, by the way.
In Death Valley. Yeah, so it's not going to get any easier. That Florida schedule is just brutal. I mean, it's brutal.
It's not going to get any easier.
Yeah, it's not getting any better. Okay. What about a coach? All right, let's just go hypothetical. Let's say they make a coaching change. Who you think is Florida's next coach?
Alex Golesh.
Who's that?
Not a doubt. I think he auditioned very well. I think he's ready for this type of a move.
Wait, but who did you say, Octavius? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name. What was the name?
Alex Golesh.
Oh, okay. What about
the USF?
Yeah, Alex Golesh. What about Kiffin?
To be honest, I don't want Kiffin.
Why not?
I don't think Kiffin will make a good mix down there in Gainesville.
Okay. So it's almost like you feel like it. Golesh at South Florida, this was almost like an interview for him this week.
Basically.
Gotcha.
And I think he's more than qualified. He's been to the SEC already. Unlike Billy Napier, he's been to Tennessee, where where fans is crazy, and they love points, we love points, and honestly, I think we're ready to make a move. I think his aggressive nature will fit the Gators.
Okay.
And make us have a killer instinct or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think Billy lacks the killer instinct right now.
Yeah. Yeah, something in the early going just hasn't quite added up, and they have had tough schedules. But I think I saw the stat this morning, Octavius, of how poor his record is in the first 40 games as compared to these other coaches. You know, like Mullen and all of them had much better records in their first 40 games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hey, I appreciate you calling. Don't be a stranger. Call me anytime, okay?
Yes, sir. Hail State and go Gators.
Thank you. Appreciate the phone call. All right, sticking with the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. We got Barry on line 3. What's up, Barry?
Hey, what's going on, Matt? This first time I've called in. I wanted to get your take from your perspective. So I grew up, been a Bulldog fan as far as I can remember. And for years, I have lived with the disappointment and the heartache of being a Bulldog. And I remember all the years of croom and just low expectations of things. And I specifically remember when I went to state years ago, there was a drive against LSU, and I remember being in the stadium and seeing us go 4 downs from the 1 yard line, and we could not get the ball in the end zone. And for once, it's good to be on the other side of that and to stop a drive, then to turn around and execute a 2-minute drill just almost flawlessly, it seemed, and then to come away and take away the ball and just kind of take the wind out of somebody else's sails. When we've had no wind in our sails, it just felt, from my perspective, it felt amazing. And so I wanted to know from you, being a Bulldog for years, how did you feel in that moment?
Yeah, you know, I guess I've been around long enough too, Barry, to see some pretty cool moments, but it's not every year that you have a game like that that's, you know, heightened enough and dramatic enough that you have this big, you know, sort of off the chain celebration and that sort of thing. And I think the other thing about it was that this one is on the heels of what you've been through the last couple of years since Coach Leach passed away, which has been like 2 years in the wilderness of just awful football. And so with a even though he's a second-year coach, it still feels like Lebby's just getting started. So a game like that can sort of be a program builder, like a program launcher, a game like that. So I think it's rare in that sense, you know. I'm like you. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen some goal line stands, but ones that, you know, you have this dramatic ending, the huge play at the end, you know, with just a little bit of time left. It doesn't happen every year, and that's why it really stands out. And it's really cool to experience it. Yeah, I'm happy for them, but I'm also just as happy for the fan base, you know, to
for sure.
Because that's another thing a lot of people have pointed out, Barry, is like the Scott Van Pelt thing. He's talking to the guy, and they're pointing out that, you know, it was amazing to them. The stadium's mostly full, not a complete sellout, but the students, everybody, the dog walk, how loud it was for a team that won 2 games last year. And so I think, it really just, you know, it's something that everybody kind of agrees the fan base sort of deserved it also.
For sure. Yeah. It to me, looking at it, it seemed as if, even though we won 2 games last year, that, especially after watching the game against Southern last week, and, you know, started out really slow and struggled, but then it kind of seemed in that second half to kind of kick it in gear and really start rolling. It kind of seemed like everybody kind of gelled a little bit
Yeah,
together.
started to kind of get behind it. I agree with that. Well,
yeah, it seems as if this kind of is this kind of win feels like almost it could be a catalyst to kind of help everybody, and players, coaches, see, all right, we won 2 games last year, but that doesn't mean that that's what we're going to be this year. And, you know, we've got a couple of games in the next couple of weeks where to kind of give the guys time to gel more together and get on the same page and really become cohesive in the way that they play together, to then as they hit a stretch moving into Tennessee in those games, to hopefully kind of be on the same page and really running well together. My only fear is that they see the way that we responded against having the ball run down our throat for that whole second half.
Yeah, entire half. Hey, and Barry, let me cut you off. Let me cut you off because the music is starting and it's going to cut you off. I really appreciate the phone call. Call me anytime. But Barry does have a point. I mean, it's one of the evaluations of this particular game. You know, you love to win it. It's not all roses. You've had some injuries coming out of that game that are going to affect you going forward. We'll talk about that coming up. Yeah, and it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch. But I think it's another reason. You know, when it's not perfect by any stretch and you find a way to miraculously pull it out at the end, sometimes that fuels the celebration even more also. As it wasn't until about 60 seconds left in the game that anybody thought State was going to win it. All right, just getting started on a Monday. Back after this.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I can tell you firsthand.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us. thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there.
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team. Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. All right, here's what we're going to do now. The country pleasing text line, which is backing up. I got to get over here and get caught up here on this Reaction Monday. Appreciate the phone calls on the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company in segment number 1 of the show. Grumpy texted. By the way, the number to text if you want to get in here. What's the number? 88 what? I almost said the phone number. It's 885-3776, 601 number, 885-3776. Grumpy said, Matt, this is an overreaction Monday. Grumpy does not remember a Neil, Matt, Jay broadcast that Grumpy enjoyed more. What a Bulldog finish, only to be disappointed with no fifth quarter show on 105.9. Beaver, who does Grumpy need to call? Signed, Hail State. He wasn't happy about it. Here's some of the highlights from the game on the call of State's win over Arizona State with our broadcast crew led by our quarterback, the voice of the Bulldogs, Neil Price.
Chapin takes the snap, play action, throws, Evans wide open, right numbers, angling left to the 10, to the 5, he is gone. Woo! Touchdown, Anthony Evans. Kyle Ferry now 3 for 3 on the season as he puts 3 more on the board for Mississippi State. Levitt takes the snap, pressured by Whitson. He's going down. Woo! Will Whitson drew a bead on him, and he sacks him back inside the 5-yard line. Chapin throwing deep, right side. Thompson behind the defense, runs under it at the 2, and goes into the end zone.
There was no foul on the play for top line.
Touchdown, Mississippi State. Wow.
Now, back to the throw and catch. You will not see a better throw on a one-on-one go ball and a better catch over the shoulder. I'm talking Willie Mays over the other shoulder than what you just saw.
Levitt takes the shotgun snap. 5-step drop. Steps up, sacked. They got him back near the State 45. Deontay Anderson with one arm. Levitt drops. Steps up into the pocket. Flush to his right. Still looking downfield, loads up, throws down the right sideline, intercepted. Mississippi State at the 15-yard line. Traore, the tight end, in motion, slot right. Chapin throws touchdown. Right side. Thompson catches it inside the numbers 20. Angling left 10, 5, touchdown, Brennan Thompson. Sam Levitt drops, rolling right, steps up. Throwing down the middle, intercepted. It's Washington for Mississippi State at the Arizona State 45, angling left to the 40. He slides down there, and the Bulldogs mob him. Final 3 seconds, run off, and you can wrap a ranked win in maroon and white.
And so those are some of the calls from the game on Saturday night. Neil Price. Myself, Jay Perry, on the call from Learfield. State Grad 98 texted the show. Country Pleasing text line said, wanted to be the first to comment on the 2 things that are on every football fan's mind. First and foremost, said how bad East Texas A&M was. How bad they were shafted by the officiating against Florida State. If the officiating was different, they would have won. Come on, man. You pulled me in on that one. He said, second, how ugly the Saints uniforms were yesterday. Somebody said it was an all-time ugly uniform game, and I agree with you. What the Saints were wearing along with what, anytime the Cardinals are on the field, it's downright terrible. Let's see, Jason in Flagstaff. He texted and he said, what? Oh, my sweet duck, it's magic. Patches O'Houlihan and me on Saturday night. I've been waiting to hear from you, Jason. How about that, huh? Real C said, Matt, your touchdown call prior to it even being caught was awesome. Yeah, it was one of those thinking out loud things, Real C. I generally don't do that. I try not to on most broadcasts. I would rather just be quiet and shut up during the play, but that's one where I'm thinking out loud and kind of then out loud saying what I'm thinking. J-Rock texted the show, said, hey, Matt, I love the call when you told Shapen to throw it, and then you said touchdown before the ball even got the receiver. Pretty cool, Hail State. Well, I'll give you like the quick version on that. I know there's been some comments about it. I always start looking at a play. My eyes are always on the defensive front first, defensive front seven, because that kind of lead. That's where everything starts, and seeing who's lined up where. I always pretty much look at defense. And, I'm looking at the front. They had 5 guys lined up there, so they give you this pressure look. Okay, and then I just kind of glance. You got a safety over the top in the middle of the field. You go back to the front. But then on the snap, you see 2 linebackers bail out of there. The safety comes off the near hash, and then when I see that safety run down, there's 2 receivers here. So just like that, I just look back over to where the route is. Now I'm going to see the route because they're not going to bring more than you can block, I guess is what I'm saying. So now I look at the route, and when I turn my head to look, there's nobody. There ain't nobody over here. They're gone. Safety is gone. And it's just him. And out loud, I go, throw it. Okay, and then, Shapen, it's one thing to see it from the press box. He sees it from the field, people all around him. And then when he lets it go, I see the throw. I see the separation between Thompson and the DB. It's like this, arms up, touchdown, man. All he's got to do is catch it because that's it. This is over. That's just kind of how it felt. Kenny, don't call me Ken, sent me a woo and a Hail State. Nick texted in and said, I came here to apologize to Coleman Hutzler. Nick said, I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're very good looking. I'm not attractive. It's all right, Nick. Takes a big man to apologize. And everybody that was on his case last year, they kind of were wrong because it had nothing to do with what you lined up in. Last year, it doesn't matter what you lined. It doesn't matter what you call. They just didn't have the Jimmys and Joes. Bama fan texted and said it was a message from Coach DeBoer. He told them before the game on Saturday, we will play with a chip on our shoulder the rest of the year. Talking about Alabama scoring 70. White Denzel texted the show. He said, let's all say a prayer for Chicken Hawk. He tried to pay off the refs to help Scott Central beat Union Friday night, but to no avail. What? He says, he tried to pay off the refs to help Scott Central beat Union Friday night, but to no avail. So the Union won. Yellow Jackets 2-0, just like the Dogs. Anthony texted and said, I had the score a little bit off, but I'm grateful for the win. Let's keep our head on straight and win the next one. It's going to be tougher. They lost a couple of veterans first-year players and transfers that are in there, namely Will Whitson. They've announced today that Whitson out for the year. He led you in tackles for losses and sacks. He had 2 sacks already this year and about 4 tackles for loss. Really good veteran edge rushing player. Made a difference when he went out of the game the other night at the end of the first half, and so they're going to really miss him. But and you hate it for him and for the team, but injuries happen to everybody. You just have to respond. Next man up. Somebody's got to go be better than they were. Ronnie said, I told you, Matt, all I had to say, MSU would win. And they did. And, albeit miraculous at the end. And State dominated the first half. Arizona State dominated the second half. Like it was a total flip-flop. And when you say dominated, like State offensively and defensively just dominated the first half, but it wasn't complete. It really either one. So you could say it like this. State dominated the first 29 minutes of the first half, and that 1 minute at the end belonged to Arizona State. And in the second half, a 30-minute half, Arizona State dominated 28 minutes of that 30-minute half. But the last 2 minutes belonged to Mississippi State. Goal line stop to force a field goal after you have just been bludgeoned the whole half. How they got that done, it's incredible. Hold them to a field goal, and then go, like you say, like Brando said, go 2-minute drill, and zip, you're in the end zone. Let's see here. Tony texted the show, says, hat tip the Bulldog defense, 3rd and goal after getting lit up. That's it. I mean, they were absolutely getting their face kicked in for 28 minutes. And on 1st and goal at the 1-yard line, got to stop and forced a field goal. And Dillingham, he did the right thing kicking the field goal to go ahead, to tie game 17-17. He did the right thing. He kicked the field goal, go up 20-17. Why was it the right thing? Because State's offense could not move the ball in the second half. Couldn't move it. There was no indication that State's offense was going to be able to go right down and score in less than 2 minutes if you had watched the previous 28 minutes of that half. So it was the right decision. It just, State made the plays. Bill texted with a photo. Hey, wait a minute, that's me. Bill said, Matt, I hadn't been to a State football game in a while since my kids are graduated now. Last night, first game in a while, I picked a good one. Looking for you. I saw you in this picture. Yeah, it's me up there in the broadcast booth. Yep. See, that's coach's booth right there on the other side. Now, and then we get to it. Unnamed texter said, terrible news with Whitson and Steen out for the year. Next man up. And I mean, that's really kind of the name of the game for everybody. And every team has had some people get hurt they didn't want to. But that's a big one for State. That's a big one for State because Whitson had been so good. He'd really been your best player on the defensive front for 2 weeks and an older guy. Now, I don't know what his eligibility status is in terms of being able to get a medical red shirt. You know, it might be that he can get a medical and have more time. I just don't know that. So I'll have to see if I can find out and see what the projection is on that. But it is a tough loss for the team, and that's why you have to get more than one defensive end ready to play. All right. Rolling along with you in hour 1 of this Reaction Monday. Staying connected because of C Spire. Stick around.
25 minutes after.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire. Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business.
outreach business, anything like that, everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there. Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Let's see here. Will said, Matt, who do you think enjoyed their drive back to Tupelo on Saturday, you or Coach Kenny? I'm pretty sure I did, right? And there was a lot of folks on the road. Everybody staying to the end of the game for obvious reasons. John, back at you on Facebook. John gave us a Hail State in the comments on the live stream there. JS290 said MSU probably should have given up the touchdown to preserve clock, but with the goal line stand, ASU should have gone for it on 4th and goal. I will admit, I think we talked about it on the air. It was either that or a commercial break. I know that Neil and I talked about it during the game, because that situation when they break free were the way that the game had gone. It's a tie game, 17-17. You can see them going down, getting down on the 1 yard line and punching it in with no time left. And you think to yourself, you keep your timeouts, let them in so that you got maximum timeouts, maximum time to try to tie the game yourself so that you have the last possession. And everybody was thinking that. And I guess what it shows you is that's just not always that simple. And defenses can and do get stops on the 1 yard line sometimes, and you got to let them play. I think also it had me thinking, on the drive home, thinking about that scenario the other night, that I was convinced, okay, I'd watched the previous, like you say, 28 minutes of the second half and did not see any way State was going to stop them from 1 yard out. So just preserve the time, and you kind of have to let them on in. But it's a tie ball game. It'd be different, if it'd be a clearer decision if you're already down by 3, already down by 4, and there's probably some scenarios where you're going to map that out and go analytical on it. Okay, if it's this score situation with this amount of time, you play, but how are you going to know? It's I think totally a feel thing for a coach, and no wonder that as soon as they got that stop, given the way the second half had gone, that Levy it was almost like he was more fired up about the defensive stop than he was the offensive score. After the game, he couldn't stop talking about the defensive stop because, it's what gave them a chance to win. So it was pretty incredible. All right, back over to the phone. The Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company here in Mississippi. Wayne on line 1. What's up, Wayne?
Man, ain't much. I got a question.
All right.
Have they was that a non-conference game? I noticed it didn't bother me. The state was ringing the cowbell sometime through with Arizona State. Or that rule changed?
Well, I don't think the rule has changed, but it's kind of like what we were talking about last week, Wayne. I was sitting here speculating, an SEC game, the SEC itself will like fine state or threaten to take their cowbells away or whatever. But if it's a non-conference game, nobody believes the NCAA itself is going to rule on anything or can. So is it, I don't know if it's any different. I don't think the rule's any different. And I think they expected you, or wanted you to. The video board even sort of coordinates, and it'll say at certain times they'll put a thing up there that says, rest your bell and yell. It's when they want them to stop ringing and just yell. And they were still doing that in this game. But you're right. There were times in the game where States fans were like, to heck with it. And it just rang away while they were over the football.
Well, I was at a football pool. State, Ole Miss, and Florida sure hurt me bad.
Why?
I picked 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I didn't know what. It was kind of hard. Really, Florida and Ole Miss wanted really just.
Yeah.
Let it get away.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna get fined. They gonna get fined anything for people going on.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will get fined. They put the countdown clock at 3 minutes, hoping that everybody would wait till that 3 minutes was over, but they didn't wait. And so they're probably going to get fined for it.
When you were down there at Southern the other day, when they get a first down, they used to say, first down, Southern Miss to the top. I listened to it the other night. I watched. I didn't hear them say that.
Huh.
They may have changed that with that new coach,
Yeah. Then maybe they have. I don't know. That's interesting.
But anyway.
All right.
Man, I'm so proud of you. Well, you have a great one. You and Beaver, and I'll holler at y'all later.
Okay. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate the phone call. Thanks for listening. Scores around the state of Mississippi. Of course, you had Ole Miss beating Kentucky in Lexington 30-23. Pretty good competitive ball game up there. I expected Ole Miss to I didn't expect it to be that close, but ultimately it was. They had a tough first quarter, Kentucky, and that's kind of why they set the tone and had a chance to win it. But Ole Miss is much better than Kentucky. Other scores, let's see. Of course, state wins. We've talked about it. You have, Southern Miss beating Jackson State. You had Tarleton State beat Valley 59-3. If you go back to last Thursday night, Belhaven and Millsaps played each other. Belhaven beat them 50-24. And on Saturday, Delta State went to 2-0 with a 41-9 win over North Greenville University. Not sure where that is, but it's Greenville, I guess South Carolina, probably. So 2-0 for Delta State. Those are your scores. Someone texted in and said, from an X's and O's standpoint, what did we do different on the 3 plays on the goal line? They didn't really do anything different. It's just that, you're kind of selling out to the run and involving more people because you're only 1 yard away. And some guys just kind of dug in and didn't get blocked into the end zone right there. That's what Go Mike said. Why wasn't there any cowbell restrictions during the game? I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, Mike, I just don't care. I don't care. There's a time when I cared back when, Scott Strickland was our AD 10 years ago, whatever it was. And the league, they're trying to be big brother. And you got these other schools that are real concerned about little old Mississippi State ringing cowbells at their football games like it's some kind of big deal. And they're going to exercise their power and make you ring responsibly and threaten to take them away. Bull. Stick it. Everybody can stick it. Okay, 2025, nobody's taking anything away. They want to fine, whatever. Ring, you want to ring. I'm tired of hearing about it. It's never been a big deal. And so, I don't care. Let's see. Unnamed texter says, Matt, in the pregame before the Southern Miss game, you said our punters were putting on a show. What happened? Punting has not been good. I don't know what has happened. I was talking about that the other day. It leads me to believe that it's just a difference of doing it in practice. and punting in situations with no rush versus having to go out with the lights on and punt with a rush. And the punting has been really poor. Yeah, and then you had a shank the other night. I mean, it's disappointing. It's absolutely, it's got to be one of these things where it's a couple of guys that just aren't used to doing it with live people running at them. It taught me a lesson. Don't pay any attention to how somebody punts the ball when they're in practice or when there's no rush or where there's no threat of getting hit. I'm only going to pay attention to guys who can punt it when they're about to get hit. Logan Cook, he makes no difference to him whether they're about to hit him or not. It's 60 with hang time. So that's all. I'm not going to get fooled again. Punter's looking good in warm-ups. Jason in Flagstaff says, speaking of Florida, the guy they fired for only starting with 3 New Year's 6 bowls and an Eastern Division championship in his first 4 years just went 3-0 in his first year at UNLV. He's talking about Dan Mullen. Unnamed texter says, you keep calling those TDs out loud. First thing I noticed when seeing the replay, it was great. I've had 3 people today talking about it to me. Great call. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, and it's like you could, especially that last one. I mean, what Bear Bryant's old saying was, he's so wide open, it looked like he went out to practice early. That's kind of how it felt. Real unnamed texter said he was listening live when I said, throw it. Again, thinking out loud. I'm not supposed to do that. I did apologize to Neil because over the years, 99 plays out of 100, I'll keep my mouth shut, and I intend to do that. I should be able to, after 15 years up there, not have an outburst, I guess. No, Principal, UNLV, I think, got started early. I think they played an early game, so they're already on their 3rd game, I believe. I believe that's right. Grumpy said, oh, no, about Will Whitson. So sad. Yeah, I hate it for him because he had a year like this last year where start out good and then get hurt. You just hate it. Unfortunately, it happens all the time in football. I just really do hate it for him. John in Rolling Fork says, what did Arizona State change in their blocking scheme to be able to gas the defense in the second half? John, I haven't gone back and watched it over and over and over again closely enough to be super specific, but I have a pretty good idea. And here's the thing. They didn't change anything in their blocking scheme, like the way they were blocking it. And they really didn't change anything formationally in how they were lining up to block it. It's just they simplified what they were calling. A lot of the stuff they were calling and trying to run that had game planned against State in the first half, they just dropped it. They tore 2 or 3 pages out of their playbook and came into the second half and basically looked at their center and 2 guards and says, all right, boys, you 3, we're going to win the game behind you or we're going to lose it behind you. It's on you. Fire off. Because we're just going to run the ISO with a lead blocker. We're going to run zone run, and it's going to be on you. And they just physically whipped State for 2 quarters. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. That's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
Pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about. Hour number 2 of the show off and running with you in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes at your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Some text to get to on the Country Pleasing text line, number 885-3776. Text the show at that number. It's a 601 number, 885-3776. Call the show on the Junction phone lines. Junction delis all across the state of Mississippi. They got some of the best food. Some of them serve sausage dogs from Country Pleasing. They got great chicken pot pie, you name it. Junction delis, and they are fueled by Prince Oil Company. It's been fueling Central Mississippi for 60 years. And you can call this number, 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. Aaron commented on Facebook on the live stream, hey to you, and said, even on the TV, it was louder than I've ever heard it. And I think I heard the attendance was only 50,000. Yeah, made a pretty good crowd. I mean, I couldn't see above our heads on the west side, but, the rest of the stadium was pretty doggone full, maybe with a few seats here and there. Mr. Sip commented on YouTube, said the Big 12 officiating crew was probably just ignorant of the rules about the cowbells. I don't know that there's necessarily an in-game rule, but yeah, whatever. I think it's gotten to a point where, people throwing a fit about something like state having cowbells, those days are over. Or should be anyway. That's what I think. And Jeffrey commented on YouTube and said, Matt, I'll be coming to the Tennessee game. Supposedly the Snow Bowl team is going to be getting back together that Saturday and hopefully get to see. That was a great team. And said, rest in peace, Dante, number 3. Yeah, they are having, I believe that's right, the Tennessee game, having a reunion for the 2000 Snow Bowl team. Yeah, I think, and wearing white uniforms, right? Wearing the Snow Bowl throwback uniform, which is really cool. Really cool. Glad they're doing that. All right. Over to the phone, the Junction phone line. The number to call is 897-1059. It's a 601 number, 897-1059. On line 1, Melissa. Thanks for calling, Melissa. What's up?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, is this Melissa? Is this the Melissa from Starkville?
Yes. This is the Melissa from Starkville that just sent you the picture of her lunch.
Okay, I saw that. So y'all are eating sausage for lunch? I do that all the time.
Yes. It's so good. Look, it's just so nice to be able to smile. We smile all the time, don't get me wrong, but just a little bit extra this morning.
Yeah, I know.
Because, as my Matt said, we went from utter despair to euphoria in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Because I've seen my fair share of football. I was like really, really, really nervous, but so excited we won. 2 things I wanted to ask you your opinion about. One, the guy that, or I think it was a text, we're talking about what did they change when they started just gassing us.
Yeah.
One big change to me was it was right after Will Whitson went out.
Yep, that's right.
It wasn't long after. I hate that for him. And but that was one thing I noticed. And then the other thing is the last play of the game, Devon Booth's block.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that?
I did, yeah.
Did you see him?
Mm-hmm.
That was huge.
Yeah, he really popped him, didn't he?
He did, but he kept him off his back for Blake to have that time.
Yep, that's right.
To roll out and make the throw like he did. I just was real impressed with that. I was excited to see our backs blocking like that.
I tell you what, and you're right. Now, they did block, too. And I saw, there were several physical blocks in the game that stood out to me from the running back group. And Bothwell had some, too.
Yes. Now, I'm a big Fluff fan. Of course, he was playing at South Alabama last year, and we were going to the South Alabama games last year because of our son. And so I got to watch him all year.
Mm-hmm.
When we found out he was coming to state, I was ecstatic because I know what he can do.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, he's tough.
Yeah, fun time.
Yep.
I'm excited. I know there's a lot of football left to play. Like I said, I've been around the block a time or two, but today is a good day to be a Bulldog.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? I mean, it really is. You win one like that, and thank goodness you get to see. It's almost like when you've seen it enough at all levels with Matt coaching and playing and stuff. It's like it's coming, and you just keep working and hanging in there because the good days are coming. It's just a matter of time. And for some schools, I know they roll around more often, but sometimes when you've been through the wilderness, it makes it that much sweeter when that good day finally does show up,
Oh, absolutely. Makes it all worth it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It makes it all worth it. But no, we're super excited. And I got so tickled because, of course, we got in the car after the game and we turned you on immediately, and Neil, and listening to you make that call where you called touchdown, Matt just died out laughing when he heard you say it. It was like, so I was just going to tell you, don't feel bad about it. That's just the coaching you coming out.
Well, maybe so.
Coaching. There is.
That's it. Because see, Matt knows from a coaching standpoint. You've had times where you see it like it's fixing to happen, and you just go ahead and say it. He gone. Like it's it. Touchdown.
Last year he was live stream. He was doing live stream broadcast for the high school game. And there was one game, before he even realized it, he literally said exactly what was fixing to happen, like seconds. And then it happened. It was exactly like, he called the play. No, unless you were watching the live stream, you wouldn't have known it.
That's right.
He called the play, and then the play happened. It's instinctual, I guess, if that's the right word.
Yeah,
but
I think
anyway, listen every day. Love you guys, and
you too.
Hail State.
Yep, Hail State. Thanks, Melissa.
Matt.
Say hi to Matt for us. Yeah, her husband Matt Caldwell played offensive line at State, and of course coached all over the place in the state of Mississippi, public and private, and great folks. And their youngins have grown up, and they got a daughter who's working at State now, and they're always there. And so they're a great example of a family who they've been through a little bit of everything following State over the years. They've been through a little bit of everything, but they're big fans. We're really happy for them. And there is some truth to that. You when you play through a certain age of your life, you watch so much film. They just cram that film study into you, and that you can't help but soak it up and learn something. And then I used to be amazed as a young guy, young football player, whatever, at, like our coaches in high school could stand back and they'd watch us run a play. 11 on 11, 22 different guys running a play, and it all happens in about 2 or 3 seconds. And he'd say, all right, stop. And here would come coach, and he'd tell 8 different guys what they did and what they did wrong. And I would think, there's no way he saw all of that. How can he see what I'm doing and at the same time know what he didn't do? And what it is like you get older, you're that experience of watching it all those years starts to build up. And I think for coaches especially, but even for guys who've played, then you realize you just kind of develop an eye for it like people do for really anything. I got a text here on the Country Pleasing text line. This says, my wife and I we've listened to you on a regular basis from the next room over. Everyone's talked about how loud it was in Starkville on Saturday. Said, I've been on the wayside of an undefeated State squad. He was equipment manager at Auburn in 2014. Okay. Now that was a loud game. We were having to point to plays on the chart from the first time out on. Talking about the noise level. Don't give those good people in Starkville a little bit of hope, momentum, he says. Good luck to Tennessee if State's 4-0 on the 27th. And then he said, you're the best unknown in the biz, Matt. Don't tell my State alum wife I'm rooting for the Dogs. Hunter from St. Louis. The best unknown in the biz. I think about the quote from my favorite photographer, Saul Leiter. And he said, I've spent most of my life being ignored, and I kind of liked it that way. And he said, I actually consider it a great privilege to be ignored. It's a different way of looking at it, I think. All right, on this Reaction Monday, back over to the phone. The Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. You can put some fuel in your vehicle out at the pump and then fuel your stomach in there in the Junction Deli. And on the Junction phone line, too, Winslow. Winslow, happy Monday. What's up?
Yeah, life is lovely, isn't it, Matt?
Well, they say that winning cures everything. I know at least for a couple of days it does.
Yeah, we just got to keep this in perspective. I mean, I start reading stories, and here comes one like how State can make a bowl game, and I almost want to channel my Lee Corso and say, not so fast, okay? It's one win, it's a big win, but let's not go off half-cocked yet.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, there is a little bit of enjoying the journey. Don't worry what's going to happen in 2 months. Go ahead and enjoy the journey now. But also, I think you're right. Arizona State probably feels like if they could have played us for 2 more quarters, it wouldn't have been close. They kind of found themselves. But I think you're right. It's not perfect, but it sure is nice to, when it's all zeros on the video on the scoreboard, that is, to be ahead and have a win and knock off a team and celebrate it for a few days. The team's got to get back on earth before the rest of us do. We got you, Winslow, or we lose you? I thought I heard him drop off.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I said I'm going to jump on the other side of the argument, though, and tell you how special it is. They talked about it being the first ranked non-conference win since Texas in '91.
At home, right?
Yeah, at home.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking, I remember beating Miami in '81 there when both teams were ranked. And then way back in '78, Florida State came in ranked and State won.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that I was at and I remembered. So I whipped out the old media guide and I thought, well, surely there's got to be some more. And I went all the way back to the 40s and could not find any more. So apparently that's only the fourth time ever that State has beaten a ranked non-conference opponent there. So it is more special than you realize.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there just haven't been a ton of games where you were playing ranked non-conference teams over the years. You know what I'm saying?
Most of them, if you have a ranked opponent at home, it's the SEC.
That's right. It's SEC games, right? For the most part.
I want to ask you though, who was the player that caught the running back from behind and brought him down at like the 1 or 2 yard line?
I'll go back and look and see. I hope I think it was Brumfield, Diego Brumfield. I think, but I could be wrong on that.
To me, that was the play of the game.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't run him down, and I saw a replay of it. I mean, and the guy overtook him by 3 or 4 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But he brought him down, and it's really funny because we were talking about the Texas game, and I remember a play in that game years and years ago that late in the game it seemed like a big old defensive lineman for Texas like intercepted a ball or picked up a ball and was running for a touchdown, and little old Kenny Roberts, the running back, ran him down and tackled him,
mm-hmm.
and they wound up not scoring, and that. You always have a play like that kind of, stays in the weeds,
Yep.
But if it doesn't happen, the game doesn't pivot the way that it did.
Yeah, it was Brumfield. That's who the officials, I'm looking at it here, that's who the official stats credited Diego Brumfield, the corner, ran him down, tackled him at the 3.
Well, to me, that was the pivotal point. And, I was afraid that everybody was going to be a little fast and loose with the cowbells, and so
mm-hmm.
But like you say, people can criticize all they want. It's still a win.
That's right.
And it's going to go down that way.
That's it, Winslow. Hey, appreciate you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Call anytime. On the Junction phone line, Junction Delis, fueled by Prince Oil Company throughout the state of Mississippi. So a couple things here. Whitney asked here on YouTube, was State doing anything in particular on defense to shut down the passing attack from Arizona State? He said, I'd heard all week their quarterback wide receiver duo was NFL quality and we would have problems with them. And I thought the same thing. Whitney, you probably heard it from me. So I'm looking at him on tape at the end of last year and then even in the first week. And, as far as catching the ball week 1 against a lesser opponent, it was a one-man show with the guy outside. This is a real prospect in terms of an athlete and a player at quarterback. And so I talked about it too. Okay. Jason mentioned on the Country Pleasing text line that in that second half, Arizona State, he says, took it out of Levitt's hands. He was obviously shook up. Apparently, teacup bells do not, in fact, remotely replicate the atmosphere at State. When I did so Whitney, Jason, when I was doing the film study video of the game, I noted that early on he did miss a couple of throws, Remember that? Like, there's a couple of early series that, really first and second quarter where, some plays would happen where he'd stay in the pocket. He'd make that long cross the field throw. It was no issue with arm strength, but it would sail on him. Like he'd pump it over their head, like he's juiced up. The accuracy was just off. And then you get to a point where you go, okay, something's got him rattled. Maybe it is the atmosphere and the noise. You've seen a lot of guys that it's loud and there's great atmosphere, but it doesn't necessarily rattle them. And if they're open, you hit them. And he just flat out missed some. Yeah, he was pumping it over their heads. I don't know what exactly you do chalk it up to, but Jason is exactly right. We could probably look. Sometimes the total number of pass attempts in a quarter or in a half, like the overall number of attempts doesn't necessarily tell you. You got to look specifically at what those attempts are. But let's just see what it says. So in the first half, they threw the ball 16 times and he had 5 completions. In the second half, they threw the ball 7 times total and he had 5 completions. So, Whitney, when you go, what was State doing defensively in that first half? Well, they did pressure him. They did win off the edge. A lot of that was because Whitson was on the field. Let's just say it like it is. The Bible says we're not supposed to be afraid of bad news. Well, yeah, look, a lot of it was but there was rush off the edge. Scylla, the A&M transfer, was good off the edge. They did get them in some second and long stuff and make them really uncomfortable and down and distances in the first half. And there was excellent coverage. We saw that too, that, there was even one throw. I remember one time there was a conversion throw. They missed it across the middle where, guy's open, but it's not like he's running wide open. It's man-to-man coverage and a guy was right with him, corners trailing him. There was at least one, but maybe 2 pass breakups for Kelly Jones where they targeted him. Right? So it's like a combination of coverage, but the biggest thing is they were throwing the ball a lot as a part of their plan in the first half, and State's pass defense was outstanding. The combined rush and coverage. They cut their pass attempts in the second half all the way back to 7 total. You cut it back more than half of what they threw it in the first half and just ran the ball right up the chute. Like I said, it's like they went in the locker room at half and go, okay, it's 17-3. We get it to start the third quarter. Here's what we're going to do. And you can telegraph it to whoever you want. We're not throwing a football, only if we're ahead of the chains in an early down. We're not throwing a football, and it's going to be inside zone, and every now and then a counter with a lead, and every now and then an ISO with a tight end. But Hey, center, hey, 2 guards, game's yours. We will lose because of you or we will win because of you. Got it? Now, have some fun. Fire off and hit somebody. We're going to simplify everything we're doing on offense, and they did. And so State just started getting blocked by, I'm telling you, it's an example of State winning this game because of resiliency, and they outcoached and outschemed Arizona State in the first half, particularly on defense. But winning a game with big plays and things against a team who actually has more and better athletes than you have. Arizona State's offensive defensive line, they got more and bigger and better of them than State does, yet State won the game. The thing is, they started relying on that and sort of exploiting it in the second half. They won the line of scrimmage defensively consistently in the second half. They won the line of scrimmage offensively consistently in the second half. And that's, to me, what makes that goal line stand even that more amazing. That from 3 yards away, State, when they absolutely had to have it, and frankly were a little bit outmanned, dug in and got off the field, forced a field goal. It's amazing. Nick Mitchell with that hit on the running back and just stopped him stone dead in his tracks on that third down. And Nick had 9 tackles, led you, and he's Defensive Player of the Week in the SEC, and rightfully so. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know,
Right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
all right, back with you. I'm Matt. Rolling along here on this Reaction Monday. And reacting to lots of things. A lot of reaction to State's win over Arizona State. And all of that. Appreciate everybody tuning in. All the text messages. If you've texted and I haven't gotten to it yet, I see every last one of them. We'll get there. Grumpy and Brooks and Kenny and Andre and Fletcher and V-Dog and J-Rock and all y'all coming to you, and everybody on Facebook and YouTube, Steve and Grayson and Will and JS290 coming to y'all, coming to you, and all the phone calls. We've been loaded down today with phone calls. It's been a lot of fun on the Junction phone, and we'll continue that right now. The Junction phone, Junction Delis around the state, fueled by Prince Oil Company. You can get some fuel in your vehicle out at the pump, go inside of the deli, the Junction, and fuel for your stomach. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. And over to the phones where we got Johnny Reb on line 1. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for calling.
Good. Hey, yeah. And I just got in the car and got on, so I missed this. Just tell me I missed it.
Okay, it's all right.
You know, last week you made several comments that you did not expect State to win that game. So what in State's game where was the difference? What did you see? What performed much better than you had expected?
Okay.
I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, Johnny Reb, thanks for the call. Yeah, I really felt like State was up against it, had their hands full. And, you know, I was talking to Todd Jordan that morning, Saturday morning. They had a 9/11 memorial stair climb, a local firefighters, an annual event. It's a really neat thing in Tupelo, and Todd was there. My daughter had a role. She was singing the national anthem and stuff. And Todd and I were talking about the game, and I said, you know, I just think State's going to have to play a little bit over its head and have just a kind of a magical night to win this thing. And that, because athletically, felt like maybe overall team speed, I thought Arizona State was going to have an advantage. I think I was wrong about that. I do. I think I was just wrong. I don't think Arizona State necessarily had some sort of team speed advantage. And so I was wrong about that. But I was right that they do have and did have a beef advantage, you know, a hoss advantage on the line of scrimmage, especially offensively and defensively. But what happened, I think, to answer your question, Johnny Reb, State thoroughly, I feel like, outcoached and out-schemed them in the first half of that game, paired with the fans and the atmosphere jumped all over them a little bit. That's the only thing that would make any sense to go, that's why their quarterback was a little rattled early in the game. And in that first half, he just was. He was a little off and a little rattled, and State hit him some. And, you know, maybe there were communication issues. They did have a bunch of penalties. I think Arizona State had 6 penalties in the first half. They only had 2 in the entire second half. So, but the other thing was, when you look at, especially defensively, from stunts up front in certain situations, slanting your front and bringing an edge down and which direction you're doing it based on what they're calling with left hash, right hash, which for some teams, and I think Arizona State's one of those, that had a lot to do with how they were running the ball into the boundary or to the field, and how they were play actioning and throwing the ball, into the boundary or to the field. And they use a lot of different, personnel packages. But State, from a coaching standpoint, they had a plan going into that game where they were forcing Arizona State, when they did throw the ball, to throw it where State wanted them to throw it, which was baiting them into that one-on-one matchup with Kelly Jones. Well, he wins it. So that's 2 weeks in a row. He's just winning every one-on-one matchup that's thrown at him. Also using people at the line of scrimmage, a lot of it, and playing some man-to-man behind it. They didn't do a ton of zone coverage stuff. So you're sort of committing people to the line of scrimmage. State outcoached them in that first half. And that was a big part of it. And then you look offensively, there's an element of just making the plays. I think the other thing that, it's not a surprise, Johnny, but the other thing that you won the game, even though physically they whipped you for a half, because you didn't give up any home run type of plays, any 40, 50-yard plays. They had, especially scoring plays, they had a lot of plays now that were chunks. But their longest rush was that 26-yarder down to the 3-yard line at the end of the ball game before the goal line deal. Prior to that, it was like 10, 11, 12, 13. There's a 15 in there. That's their longest plays. Their longest pass play in the game was a 23-yarder, you see. So even though they did get it going, you still forced them to execute and run a bunch of plays. There were none of these home run scoring plays, right? And then on the other side, there's State with a 48-yard touchdown, a 47-yard touchdown, and a 58-yard touchdown. And if you're scoring from far 3-4 times a game like this, you can stand some 3 and outs, because you wind up, you go 58 yards and put the points on the board. So I don't know. I did feel like with what they found that would work against State, and you better believe it, that when you get ready to play these teams these next 3 weeks, particularly Tennessee in 3 weeks, they're going to watch that Arizona State film and go, hey, why wouldn't we just run inside zone over and over and over again? If we like our center and 2 guards, because they struggled with that. Guarantee you that'll be part of it. It's just that Arizona State didn't really figure it out until halftime. All right. Back over to the Junction phone line. Humphreys County Dog on line 2. What's up?
Mr. White, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for calling.
I was going to let you and ask you, how many Mississippi State polos do you think were wore to church services across the state of Mississippi yesterday?
That's a great point.
Because I know I was one of them.
Man, and listen, I don't ever do that on purpose. Like, I try. I'm not a team colors, team logo guy at church. My problem is most of the shirts I own have the state logo on it because they've been given to me, over the years. Here's the other thing, Humphreys County, and some people may think this is gross. It's not. It wasn't hot or anything. But I wore the same pair of maroon breeches to the ball game Saturday night that I did to church on Sunday morning. And everybody thought that was on purpose. No, it's just that's what was there. But you're right, man. Everybody was wearing that logo on Sunday.
Well, there was a couple things I wanted to tell you. I was texting a friend of mine during the game, and when State got behind, I texted him and I said, well, our only hope is to get the ghost of Mike Leach to come in this game and help us. I said, he's somewhere wandering on campus. We have to get him the day before the clock hits 0. And I'm so glad he made it to the game before the clock hit 0 and helped us out.
That's neat. That's a fun thought. Yeah. And
Hey,
and don't.
Last thing I'll leave you with.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Last thing I'll leave you with. I'd like to look this weekend when State plays. I'd like for them to play 4 good quarters of football. We played 2 games. I feel like we really played a half a game, 2 quarters of good football each game. I'd like to see solid 4 quarters out of them this weekend.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. When you think about it, even last year, Humphreys County Dog on that 2-win team, that was still indicative of that team. Is you'd have games where you'd have a really good quarter and then you'd follow it up with a bad one. It's like we're still waiting on it. A full 4-quarter deal.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, Mr. McWhite. Have a good day.
All right. Appreciate the phone call. Let's see here. Sven commented on YouTube and he says, well, good for you, Matt. Imagine a homecoming queen lays you down a Rebel shirt for the state game. Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't. I don't own any. Okay, but yeah, I got a closet full of state stuff because that's what I've been given it. And I like it. Why wouldn't you wear it? Especially after a win. Hey, I tell you what, if you're hanging on the phone line, just out of fairness, let's hold off. Just hang on. I'm looking at the clock. I know music is going to start here pretty soon, probably within a minute. And that means the commercial break will be coming soon, and I don't want us to get cut off. So if you can just patiently wait there, I appreciate it. We'll get to it on this side. That way we don't have to rush. Sven, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Chapin had the 3 touchdown passes all over 40 yards, so scoring from a long way away and taking advantage of it. You good offenses that are led by good quarterbacks in terms of throwing a football, they have a knack for finding your mistakes and exploiting it. Almost in an uncanny way. I've told you this before, but I remember I'd study film of Dak when he was in college, and it was almost uncanny how there were times when the defense would do everything right, but there's one guy out of position, and it's like how he would somehow find it and exploit that. Well, like that last play of the game, or not last play, but the last touchdown of the game to Thompson. That's one where you're out in the field, that situation, they got a 3-point lead, you're trying to go 2 minutes, you don't have timeouts, and they decided to do a little funky bring-in pressure type thing and dropping 2 linebackers off the line of scrimmage, bringing a safety off the hash, which brought the free safety down, and Chapin found it. Some things had to happen, but I'm impressed with it. Back after this.
This is Jake Mang, former Mississippi State
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. That's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on, get it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany.
Don't worry, he's got a menu full on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. All right, back over to the phone, the Junction phone line, Junction Delis across the state, fueled by Prince Oil Company since 1960. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona, on line 1. Thanks for being patient, Jason. What's up?
Nothing much. You hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah, somebody asked you what state did that you weren't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you were saying that state was probably not going to win.
Yeah.
I can tell you what they did that surprised me.
Okay.
Because I expected them to lose too. You know, I expected Levitt to be a little bit rattled. You know, because like Jesse Palmer said that one time, if you're not ready for it, you're not going to do well.
Right.
But what I did not expect is, like your game review thing you put on there, where you know the one play in particular where he's flushed out of the pocket and he nearly throws a pick up the sideline.
Yeah.
If he's not rattled, he jukes that one guy that's chasing him, and he's 30 yards upfield before you blink.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So it's like where did the all guts, all gas, no brakes running ability go in that first half for him? He was timid.
Yeah, that's something I did not account for, with State completely shutting his running down. He didn't do anything running or throwing, really.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And the other thing that I did not count on was the deep passes that State, what they hit 3 of them.
Yep.
And they barely missed on 3 or 4 others, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. There was one where there was another one where Thompson beat the guy up the field, and it was just juiced a little too much out of his reach, you know, down at the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did not think they would be that aggressive, and I didn't think it would work if they were. And I can tell you, Beaver was kind of jokingly calling me an ASU fan earlier because some goof said that last week.
Yeah.
I lost my voice cheering in my own house for every time he hit one of those long passes. How long has it been since State had somebody that would do that? Not could do it, but they would actually call it,
yeah,
and then run it.
Yeah, would take
I
it.
can't remember this side of Dak, and Dak didn't do it often.
Yeah, as far as pumping it down the field, actually taking those shots, and then, like you say, hitting them. Hey, and Jason, today, or no, it was after the game, in the interview with Neil Price in the locker room after the game on the radio post-game, Lebby made an interesting comment about that last touchdown. He just kind of, it was like most people just skip right over it, but he said, Blake, reading it, seeing it, being able to make the throw, he said, and Brennan making a great decision right there. Well, that told me that, that's an option route type thing built in for those receivers based on their rules when they run that switch, if they're vertical or if they're stopping. Now, I don't know if he means it was a great decision by Brennan to go outside release when he met that inside defender, or if it was just a great decision to run vertical instead of breaking it off or something. I don't know how they – but anyway, it jumped out to me that some of these deep balls we're seeing, it's quarterback and receiver reading a coverage and then going and getting it. It's not just saying, okay, on this particular play, you run a go, and if you're open, I'll throw it to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it reminds me of something. I wonder if it's coached. That wide receiver barely touching that blitzing cornerback on that last touchdown play. I wonder if that's coached or if that was just pure luck.
Yeah.
Because it does not look like pure luck the more I watch it. If he doesn't tangle that guy up, it's probably ball game right there.
Yeah, and what Jason is talking about is if you go back and look at Thompson's touchdown there at the end of the game, the reason it happened was because they were bringing pressure, and part of the pressure was what would be the nickel safety blitzing off the hash, to his left, to the right of the offense, which is over the third receiver on a trip side, which I think, is a tight end type player. So he's blitzing all the way from the hash, and when he ran by, I think it's a tight end, he tripped or got tripped and sprawls out on the ground, has to pop back up and then go. And if he never got held up, Blake wouldn't have had as much time to throw the football.
Anyway, I'm happy as a clam. I told Beaver, I told my neighbors they're number one immediately. So, and I also about ASU fans, I don't know what the goofs online are doing, but the ones out here have been really complimentary. And it seems like the Arizona Wildcat fans have forgiven us for some reason too. So,
yeah,
there's that.
Hey, Jason, think about this.
Y'all have a good day.
Well, thanks, Jason. Yeah, appreciate the call.
All right, bye-bye.
What I was going to point out, think about this. In this mandatory SEC thing of having to schedule a non-conference with a Power 5, State has now played 4 games against the Arizona schools and went 3-1. How about that? Beat Arizona twice, beat them in Tucson and in Starkville, and then 1-1 against Arizona State. Beat them here and then lost to them out there last year. That's not bad. Not bad. Let's see. Brandon on Facebook said, "Good afternoon, Matt. The work coffee was good this morning." It's a beautiful Monday. Life is good. Hail State. Yeah, I think State fans, we're feeling it even a little more, aren't we, after that win? One, because, it's an upset and team that was in the playoff, but mostly kind of what you've been through prior to that. It's just been so long since you had these. And everybody's like, well, why they storm the field? Well, that's why. That's why. You can argue about whether they were top 10 or number 12. It didn't matter. It's a team that was in the playoff. It was, kind of a big favorite on your own field to win. It was an upset win. And with what you've been through the last couple of years, and on top of that, it was a super dramatic way to win the game. It's not like you had a 10-point lead and just ran out the clock. So all the emotion was built up. The goalpost thing, it was like, well, they tore the goalpost down. It looked that way, but that was the operations folks. They have those jointed goalposts, And before the field storming really got underway, all the operations folks, that particular crew, they're responsible for it. They went and laid that goalpost down in the end zone in front of the student section and unhinged the two uprights and walked them out of there and hit them. And as soon as they cleared them, because we were still up there in the booth doing the post game, when they finally cleared everybody off the field out of the southwest corner of the end zone down there, and as soon as they did, they marched the goalpost right back out there, linked them up again, stood it back up. And if you look closely, pictures and video, but if you get a picture of it, you can zoom in. All those people lined up holding the uprights, walking them, they all have lanyards, like all excess lanyards, because they work for state. And there was like maybe, a handful of students, 4 or 5 guys who they thought, oh, we got the goalpost. So they jumped in and but when they got to the end, they had to stay on the field, and the operations people took the uprights and hit them up under the M Club and waited for it to all clear and took it back. So there were a lot of people that said, oh, they tore the goalpost. How'd they do it that quick? Well, they didn't tear them down. It was the operations folks who took them down, hit them, and went and stuck them back up after all the field stormers had gone home. That's how that worked. A ton of texts here that I think I don't necessarily have time to get to all of them. I'm going to try to get to a couple, though. Somebody texted in and said, I wonder if those Arizona State boys got any good gas station food while they're here. I hope they got to go to one of the junction delis. Get them a country please and sausage dog while they're in there. Gulfport Brooks said, thank you for saying that about ringing responsibly. Who cares? It didn't stop us back in the 90s, early 2000s from sneaking them in. They still didn't do anything. I mean, I'm just tired of hearing about it. I don't care one way or the other. I mean, they're going to ring them. They'll always be there. Let them do what they do. Really. And then an important question, and we'll be talking about this going forward. Somebody said, hey, Matt, with Will Whitson going down, who's your prediction for the next D lineman up? Who leads the team in sacks and that kind of thing at the end of the year? Well, I know that, some of the slack of his absence is going to get picked up by, Scylla, the big, long edge rusher who transferred in from A&M, and he's really played well the first couple of weeks. So he's getting kind of a little bit of a different role. It probably means more snaps in that 5 technique out there for Trevion. Deontay Anderson's going to have to really step up and play more. And it also means that probably you got Burrows back, the big defensive tackle, in the second half of that game. He played some. And it probably means that, guys like him play more snaps on the inside because it's going to change your rotation a little bit. And it does mean the guys on the inside are going to have to play more and play better because you'll move some people around now. But we'll see. We'll see. And a guy like Jennings is going to play, he's playing a lot. A lot more responsibility falls on him now. Enjoyed it, y'all. Apologies if I didn't get to your text, but we'll pick it back up where we left off tomorrow. For Beaver, I'm Matt. See you tomorrow. See ya.